Mr. Chair. I'd like to begin by sharing the thanks that David Bennett's just expressed to submitters and to officials. I thought David Bennett was a very fair chair of the committee, and I appreciated his performance. Sir, the Minister has raised the initial bargain that New Zealand has struck in creating ACC, the social contract. I want to refer to the submission of the ACC Futures Coalition about that social contract. The significance of the social contract cannot be overstated, and I'm quoting here, sir. In giving up the right to sue for covered injuries, the public necessarily gave up all the court-ordered remedies which flow from civil suits. These included complete compensation for lost earnings, both past and future, compensation for pain, suffering and loss of amenity, compensation for loss of congenial employment, compensation for handicap in the labour market, compensation for loss of pension, as well as compensation for the cost of treatment and or rehabilitation. Sir, the government is now seeking to renegotiate unilaterally the terms of that social contract. And so the government cannot, simply by expressing a commitment to the Woodhouse principles, pretend that this bill is upholding those principles. I want to work through them, sir, in a couple of speeches, beginning with the community responsibility principle, because governments over the years, sir, have moved towards a model for ACC that didn't resemble the original form for ACC, but rather a private insurance model. And this bill takes ACC further in that direction, sir. The bill provides for new regulatory powers to introduce experience rating and risk sharing into the ACC scheme. This will facilitate the introduction of no-claim bonuses, higher or lower levies for individual employers based on injury record, and risk rating for motor vehicles and owners of motor vehicles. Sounds like insurance to me. As Sir Owen Woodhouse himself pointed out, provisions such as these run counter to the community responsibility principle and have no place in the no-fault scheme that ACC is meant to be. The community responsibility principle recognises that the various activities we undertake in society are interrelated and that benefit and harm flow onto others. The community responsibility recognises, for example, that even though a disproportionately high number of motor vehicle injuries involve motorcyclists, a significant proportion of those injuries are actually caused by someone other than the motorcyclist. The community responsibility principle also recognises that increased use of motorcycles where practical has environmental benefits if single-occupant car usage is consequently reduced, since the greenhouse gas emissions generated by motorcycles are significantly less than from cars. Experience rating and risk rating run counter to this principle. Experience rating of employers was found to have negative impacts when it operated in the 1990s. In particular, sir, it had a negative financial impact on the ACC scheme. More funds were paid out in levy rebates resulting from positive experience ratings than were received in loadings on levies due to negative experience ratings. It seems particularly bizarre that when the government is attempting to paint a picture of financial strife in ACC, it proposes to introduce a policy that will have a negative impact on its financial performance. The formula for experience rating changed each year in an attempt to address the above problem, resulting in year-to-year uncertainty for employers. Experience rating placed pressure on ACC staff to remove costs by moving claims from the work account to other accounts, and increased the likelihood of employers contesting that an injury was a work injury, with the resultant uncertainty and delays in cover and rehabilitation for the injured person. And ACC, sir, were required to spend significantly more time and money in defending cost allocation through the dispute resolution process, rather than focusing on rehabilitation of claimants. Sir, I want to come now to the principle of comprehensive entitlement. And Marion Street has already spoken a little about this issue of the removal of cover for hearing loss. The removal of the right to be covered by ACC for people who suffer a hearing loss of less than 6% erodes one of the core wood. Mr. Chair.
Kevin Haig.